You are standing in front of the hot dog section at your local grocery store. There are at least a dozen options staring back at you. Classic beef franks, all pork. Chicken and turkey blends. Uncured, no nitrates added. Angus beef, organic. Store brand, name brand. Budget pack of 24 for $2.49. Artisan 4 packs for $9.99. And here is the honest truth. Almost nobody knows which one is actually worth buying. Most people grab the same brand they have always bought, the one their parents brought home, the one that was on sale, the one with the most familiar label. And they have absolutely no idea whether they made a good choice. We decided to find out. We went to Walmart. We went to Costco. We went to Target, Aldi, Kroger, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Sam's Club, Publix, Sprouts, H-E-B, Meijer, Wegmans, and one more. 14 stores total. We bought hot dogs. We tested them blind. And what we found was more surprising, more revealing, and honestly more entertaining than we expected. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which hot dog is worth your money, which famous name brand turned out to be deeply average, which budget option embarrassed everything around it, and which premium hot dog justified every penny of its price tag. Let us get into it. Before we get to the results, here is how we ran the test so you can trust what you are about to hear. We bought one standard pack of hot dogs from each of the 14 stores during the same week. For each store, we chose the most commonly purchased option available. Not the cheapest shelf option and not the premium specialty item, but the one a normal shopper grabbing hot dogs for the weekend would most likely pick up. Every hot dog was prepared the same way. Grilled on the same outdoor gas grill at the same temperature for the same amount of time with no seasoning, no toppings, no condiments, and no bun. We wanted to taste the hot dog itself and nothing else. No ketchup hiding a bad flavor. No mustard masking a weird texture. We had 5 tasters, all blind. No labels visible, no prices known, just numbered plates. Each taster scored every hot dog out of 10 for 3 things. Flavor, which covered the overall taste, the balance of savory and smoky and seasoned notes. Texture, which covered the snap of the casing, the juiciness inside, and how it felt from first bite to finish. And overall satisfaction, meaning if this showed up at a backyard barbecue, how happy would you be? Scores were averaged across all 5 tasters. Here are the results. Store number 1, Walmart. Great value beef franks. Price $2.48 for a pack of 8. Walmart's Great Value Beef Franks are one of the most purchased hot dogs in America. This is the baseline that most of the country is working from. Grilled result. The casing had a mild snap. Not dramatic, not absent, just there. The interior was moist without being greasy. Flavor was mild, slightly salty, with a hint of smoke that felt artificial rather than earned. Not unpleasant. Just straightforward and uncomplicated. Nothing surprised us. Nothing offended us. This is a hot dog that performs exactly the function a hot dog is supposed to perform without adding anything to the experience or taking anything away from it. Gore. 5.9 out of 10. The benchmark. Everything else gets compared to this store number 2. Costco. Kirkland Signature Beef Franks. Price approximately 30 cents per hot dog, sold in a 3-pound pack. Costco sells hot dogs the way Costco sells everything, in bulk and at a price that makes individual unit cost almost absurdly low. Their Kirkland Signature Beef Franks are famous in their own right. The Costco food court hot dog has been $1.50 since 1985 and is practically a cultural institution. Grilled result. Better than Walmart. Noticeably better. The snap was more defined. The beef flavor was cleaner and more present. There was a genuine savory depth that the Walmart Frank lacked. Less artificial smoke, more actual meat flavor. Our tasters consistently scored this higher than expected given the price point Doppler. 7.1 out of 10. This is a genuinely good hot dog at a price that makes it hard to argue against. If you have a Costco membership and you grill hot dogs with any regularity, this is the move store number 3. Target. Good and Gather uncured beef franks. Price $4.49 for a pack of 8. Target's Good and Gather line has been expanding steadily, and their uncured beef franks, marketed as having no added nitrates, are a popular seller. Grilled result. The snap was excellent. Clean, firm, satisfying. The flavor was lighter than some of the others, which is common with uncured products where the lack of certain curing agents changes the overall flavor profile. Some tasters found it refreshingly clean. Others found it a little flat. The texture was genuinely impressive. Juicy, well-structured, with a bite that held together cleanly without falling apart or getting mushy, Scott wore. 7.3 out of 10. Target's house brand earned a strong showing. The texture was a real highlight, and the clean ingredient list resonated with tasters who noticed it. Store number 4. Aldi. Parkview Beef Franks. Price $2.29 for a pack of 8. Aldi's Parkview brand is their house hot dog, and Aldi shoppers, as we have seen in every other test we have run, tend to be quietly confident in what their store produces. Grilled result. The snap was solid. The interior was juicy. The flavor had more personality than Walmart, with a deeper seasoning profile and a slightly smoky back end that tasted more genuine than artificial. Our tasters kept remarking that this did not taste like a $2.29 hot dog. One taster specifically said it tasted like something they would buy again without checking the price. Got her. 7.6 out of 10. Aldi delivered again, the best value hot dog of the entire test. It is cheaper than everything above it on this list, and it outscored every one of them. Aldi continues to be the most consistent overperformer in this series. Store number 5, Kroger. Private Selection Angus Beef Franks. Price $5.49 for a pack of 8. Kroger's Private Selection line is their premium house brand, and their Angus Beef Franks sit at the upper end of the grocery store price range. Grilled result. Outstanding snap. One of the best casings of the entire test. The Angus beef flavor was unmistakable, deeper and more complex than any conventional beef frank we tested. Rich, savory, with a natural smokiness that tasted like it came from the grill rather than a flavoring packet. The juiciness was exceptional. When you bit into it, there was a genuine release of flavor that made tasters pause, stop. 8.4 out of 10. Kroger's Private Selection Angus Frank was a serious contender. If you shop at Kroger and you have never tried their premium house brand hot dogs, you are missing out. Store number 6. Trader Joe's. Uncured Beef Frankfurters. Price $4.99 for a pack of 6. Trader Joe's brings their usual combination of clean ingredients, distinctive packaging, and genuine quality to their frankfurters. Uncured, no added nitrates, beef as the primary ingredient. Grilled result. Excellent. The snap was clean and defined. The beef flavor was rich and present without tasting processed or artificial. There was a natural depth to the seasoning, something slightly herby and complex underneath the primary beef note that set it apart from most other hot dogs we tested. One tester said it was the first hot dog of the test that tasted like it was made from something rather than made in a factory. Dat Gore. 8.5 out of 10. Trader Joe's was a top 3 finisher. For under $5 for a pack of 6, this is exceptional value at the premium tier store number 7. Whole Foods. $3.65 uncured beef hot dogs. Price $5.49 for a pack of 6. Whole Foods brings two things to any food category: a premium price and a genuine commitment to cleaner ingredient sourcing. Their 365 brand uncured beef hot dogs are a flagship product in their prepared meats section. Grilled result: excellent snap, beautiful beef flavor, rich, clean, genuinely satisfying. The lack of artificial flavoring was evident in a positive way. This was a hot dog that tasted like beef seasoned well, which sounds simple and is apparently not as common as it should be. The texture was near perfect. Juicy but not greasy. Firm but not tough. A clean finish with no lingering artificial aftertaste. Score: 8.6 out of 10. Whole Foods earned this score, but here is the honest observation. It was barely ahead of Trader Joe's, which costs less per hot dog. That gap is worth thinking about. Store number 8, Sam's Club. Members Mark Beef Franks. Price approximately 28 cents per hot dog. Sold in bulk packs. Sam's Club is the Walmart-owned warehouse competitor to Costco, and their Members Mark Beef Franks compete directly with the Kirkland signature in the bulk value category grilled result. Similar to Walmart, but a small step up. Better snap than great value. Slightly more defined beef flavor. Not dramatically better, but noticeably better in a side-by-side comparison. Tasters consistently place this between Walmart and Costco, which is exactly where you would expect it to land. Gore. 6.3 out of 10. A solid bulk value option. If you are feeding a crowd and budget is the controlling factor, this works. But the Costco Kirkland Frank is better and worth knowing about store number 9, Publix. Greenwise uncured beef frankfurters. Price $6.99 for a pack of 6. Publix's Greenwise line is their premium natural and organic offering, and their uncured beef frankfurters are one of the highest priced options in this test. Grilled result: the snap was outstanding, one of the best of the entire test. The beef flavor was deep, rich, and complex in a way that reminded tasters less of a typical hot dog and more of a quality sausage. There was a genuine character to this frank, something layered and interesting underneath the primary flavor. The juiciness was exceptional. The finish was clean. 2 of our 5 tasters gave this their highest individual score of the entire test. Score: 8.9 out of 10. Publix Greenwise delivered a near-perfect hot dog. At just under $7 for 6 franks, you are paying a premium, but the experience justifies it in a way that is hard to argue with store number 10. Sprouts. Natural uncured beef hot dogs. Price $6.49 for a pack of 6. Sprouts is a natural grocery chain with a strong focus on cleaner sourcing and minimal processing, and their house uncured beef hot dogs reflect that philosophy. Grilled result: excellent across every category. Snap, flavor, juiciness, texture, everything performed at a high level. Very close to the Publix Greenwise in overall character, with a slightly lighter seasoning profile that some tasters preferred for its restraint. Score: 8.7 out of 10. Sprouts finished right behind Publix and ahead of Whole Foods. At 50 cents less per pack than Publix, it arguably offered the best value in the premium tier of this test store number 11. H-E-B. Texas Beef Franks. Price $3.79 for a pack of 8. H-E-B is one of the most beloved regional grocery chains in America, and their Texas pride extends confidently into their meat department. Grilled result: excellent snap, a bold, assertive beef flavor that felt unapologetically direct. Where some of the premium uncured options had a refined, restrained quality, the HB Frank had confidence. A deeper seasoning, a satisfying richness, a genuine smokiness that landed well on the grill. One taster called it the most fun hot dog of the test, which is its own kind of compliment. Gory. 8.0 out of 10. H-E-B overperformed dramatically for its price point. Nearly $4 for 8 hot dogs with a score of 8 out of 10 is remarkable. Texas shoppers, you already know this, but it is worth saying out loud. Store number 12. Miger. Store brand beef franks. Price $2.19 for a pack of 8. Miger is the Midwest grocery and general merchandise chain, and their store brand sits in direct competition with Walmart at the budget end of the spectrum. Grilled result. A step above Walmart. The snap was slightly more defined. The flavor had a little more character. Not dramatically different, but in a side-by-side comparison, the Miger Frank had more going on than the Great Value option. Score 6.5 out of 10. Miger beats Walmart slightly at a similar price. Midwest shoppers filing this away is the right move. Store number 13. Wegmans. Organic uncured beef frankfurters. Price $7.49 for a pack of 6. Wegmans is the beloved northeastern grocery chain that inspires a loyalty in its shoppers that borders on devotion, and their organic uncured beef frankfurters represent their premium house brand commitment. Grilled result. One of the most distinctive hot dogs of the entire test. The organic beef flavor was clean, rich, and genuinely different from anything else we grilled. There was an almost grassy, pastoral quality to the beef note, something that suggested these animals had a better diet than average. The snap was firm and clean. The juiciness was outstanding. One taster said this was the only hot dog in the test that made them think about what they were actually eating in the best possible way. Score 8.8 out of 10. Wegmans finished in the top 3. If you live within driving distance of a Wegmans, their house organic franks are worth every penny and then some. Store number 14, Whole Foods. Applegate Naturals Classic Beef Hot Dogs. Price $7.99 for a pack of 8. We test 2 Whole Foods options, their House 365 brand and the Applegate Naturals line, which Whole Foods carries prominently. Applegate is one of the most respected names in the natural meat category, and their classic beef hot dogs are a genuine benchmark product. Grilled result. Spectacular. The snap was among the best of the entire test. The beef flavor was deep, rich, nuanced, and unmistakably high quality. There was a smoky complexity that felt earned rather than added. The juiciness was extraordinary. When the casing split on the grill, the release of flavor from inside was the kind of thing that makes you stop talking mid-sentence. 3 of our 5 tasters gave this their highest individual score of the entire test. Dork. 9.2 out of 10. The best hot dog we tested. At $8 for 8 franks, $1 per hot dog, it is the most expensive option we tested on a per unit basis. But it is also, without question, the best. The gap between this and the next best option was the largest gap between any 2 consecutive scores in the test. Now let us put it all together. Coming in at number 14, the lowest score of the test, Walmart Great Value Beef Franks at $2.48. Score 5.9, number 13. Sam's Club members mark at approximately $2.25 per equivalent pack. Score 6.3. Number 12. Miger Store brand at $2.19. Score 6.5. Number 11. Costco Kirkland Signature at approximately 30 cents per hot dog. Score 7.1. Number 10. Target Good and Gather Uncured at $4.49. Score 7.3, number 9. Aldi Parkview Beef Franks at $2.29. Score 7.6, number 8. H-E-B Texas Beef Franks at $3.79. Score 8.0, number 7. Kroger Private Selection Angus at $5.49. Score 8.4, number 6. Trader Joe's uncured beef frankfurters at $4.99. Score 8.5, number 5. Whole Foods 365 uncured at $5.49. Score 8.6, number 4. Sprouts Natural uncured at $6.49. Score 8.7, number 3. Wegmans Organic uncured at $7.49. Score 8.8, number 2. Publix Greenwise uncured at $6.99. Score 8.9. And number 1, Applegate Naturals Classic Beef Hot Dogs at $7.99 for 8. Score 9.2. Now here is what this test actually taught us. Lesson 1. Uncured and natural hot dogs dominated the top half of this test without exception. Every hot dog that finished in the top 7 was either uncured, organic, or natural. The conventional fully processed hot dogs, regardless of store, clustered in the bottom half. This is not a coincidence. The ingredient quality and processing approach genuinely shows up in the final product. Lesson 2. Aldi is once again the greatest value story in the grocery store. A $2.29 hot dog that scored 7.6 is extraordinary. It beat Costco, it beat Target, and it came close to challenging options costing twice as much. If you are budget conscious and you have an Aldi nearby, their Parkview beef franks are the answer. Lesson 3. H-E-B is criminally underrated nationally. An 8.0 score for a hot dog at $3.79 for 8 is one of the best value propositions in this entire test. Texas residents already know this. The rest of the country is genuinely missing out. Lesson 4. Trader Joe's punched well above its price point in the premium tier. Under $5 for a pack of 6 with a score of 8.5 puts it ahead of options costing $1 to $2 more per pack. The Trader Joe's Frank is the sweet spot for anyone who wants genuine quality without crossing into the $7 territory. Lesson 5. The difference between a $2 hot dog and a $1 per hot dog Applegate Frank is real, dramatic, and unmistakable. For everyday cookouts and family meals, the mid-range is the smart play. But if you are hosting something where the food actually matters to you, Applegate Naturals showed us what a truly excellent hot dog can be. Here is something worth knowing about what is actually inside a hot dog. The United States Department of Agriculture requires that hot dogs labeled as beef contain only beef as the primary meat ingredient. But within that requirement, there is enormous variation in what parts of the animal are used, how the meat is processed, what fillers and binders are added, and how the final product is seasoned and preserved. Conventional hot dogs typically contain mechanically separated or finely textured meat combined with water, salt, corn syrup or other sweeteners, sodium phosphates to retain moisture, and a combination of artificial and natural flavorings. They are then cured with sodium nitrite, which is the compound responsible for both the characteristic pink color and the distinctive cured meat flavor. Uncured hot dogs replace sodium nitrite with natural sources of nitrates, typically celery powder or juice. The total nitrate content is often similar, but the sourcing is different, and many consumers prefer the label for reasons of perceived cleanliness, even if the chemistry is comparable. Organic hot dogs require that the beef come from animals raised without antibiotics, without added growth hormones, and on feed that was grown without synthetic pesticides. This costs more at every stage of production, which is why organic hot dogs consistently land at the higher end of the price range. The practical takeaway is to read ingredient lists rather than just front label marketing. A hot dog labeled all natural can still contain a long list of additives. A hot dog labeled uncured can still have high sodium content. The ingredient list tells you more than any marketing claim on the front of the package. Here are our honest, practical recommendations based on everything we tested. If budget is your priority, buy Aldi Parkview. $2.29, score of 7.6. There is nothing close to it at that price. If you want the best value to quality ratio across the whole test, buy H-E-B Texas Beef Franks if you are in Texas, or Trader Joe's uncured beef frankfurters if you have one nearby. Both deliver exceptional quality at a price that makes the premium tier feel optional rather than necessary. If you shop at Costco and you grill frequently, the Kirkland Signature Bulk Pack is the right call. It is a genuinely good hot dog at a per unit cost that is hard to beat outside of a warehouse setting. If you want the best hot dog you can buy at a grocery store without limitation on price, buy Applegate Naturals Classic Beef Hot Dogs. The score speaks for itself. The experience will speak louder. If you shop at Kroger or Wegmans, their premium house brand options are outstanding and do not require a specialty store trip to find. We went into this test with assumptions that turned out to be wrong. We assumed the name brand hot dogs that have been advertised on American television for decades would place higher than they did. They did not make this list because we focused on store brands, but in preliminary testing, several nationally advertised brands scored below Aldi and well below Costco, which was a genuine surprise. We assumed the premium price options would show a gradual improvement. Instead, there was a clear quality gap between conventional processed hot dogs and the uncured or organic options with very little middle ground, and we assumed one of the warehouse clubs would take the value crown. Aldi took it without contest. You deserve to know what you are actually getting when you buy hot dogs. You deserve to know that the brand on the shelf you have been buying out of habit for 20 years might be one of the weaker performers in a blind taste test. And you deserve to know that for $2.29, you can buy a hot dog that beats almost everything in the aisle. Now you know which result surprised you the most. Drop it in the comments right now. We read every single one. And if you have a regional hot dog brand or a local butcher frank that you think would challenge these results, tell us about it. We want to know. Hit subscribe if you want more real comparisons exactly like this one. No sponsorships, no brand deals, no preferred outcomes. Just honest testing, blind results, and the truth about what you are actually buying. We will see you in the next one.